Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Guys, we are live. This is episode number 19. Jeez, we're cruising through these countries. If you haven't seen an episode, welcome to Get the Facts of Folan, where we are virtually going around the world learning about COVID-19 and also seeing the spots you need to visit when these borders open back up. So Sierra has joined. Let's get her in. We're in. Come on, Instagram. Work perfectly from the beginning. Waiting. Says we're waiting for her. Connecting. There we go. What's up? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am so good. Another beautiful day here in Singapore. So, all right. Introduce yourself. Say where you are, and then you can tell the story on how we met.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Sierra. I'm from Canada. I'm actually from the capital. I grew up in Ottawa. And I met Brent when we were in Australia on couch surfing. So just all of a sudden, I popped online and was looking for something to do, and we went to the Red Centre and did some hikes and climbed Uluru, and yeah.
It was epic. And we had Claire with us. So if you watched the Australia episode a couple days ago, Claire was a part of that group. We also got another guy named Zach. He was the one from Spain. Well, not Spain. He keeps correcting me. But Spain region, who will be on eventually. So, all right. Let's dive into it. What is going on in Canada, specifically your part of Canada right now with COVID-19?
So yeah, Canada's a big place. It's kind of like Australia. It's
massive.
So it's hard to all encompass, but in my part, we're in social isolation. So that basically means that they're telling everyone to stay in their houses, only interact with the people that you are socially isolated with.
Yeah.
And only go out for the essentials. It's basically, I'm sure everyone in the world kind of knows what social isolation is at this point, but
I think so. Hopefully. If they don't, they've been living under a rock.
Definitely. And I want that rock. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. Everything's pretty much closed, except for the essentials.
Yeah. What is selling out in Canada? Is maple syrup? Can you guys make enough maple syrup to keep everyone happy? Like, what is flying off the shelves?
So, funny thing is, my family owns a sugar bush. So, maple syrup, you actually don't make maple syrup the year that you sell it. It's almost always the last year's syrup that you'll be buying.
Yeah.
But it's toilet paper.
It's just toilet paper. It's the weirdest trend. I really do not understand.
It's a very weird trend. Toilet paper, but also like random stuff, like stuff that you put in your freezer. What was something weird? Instant coffee. My boyfriend was looking for instant coffee the other day, and we could only find like really little jugs.
Well, do you know why? Because you can thank TikTok for that one, because everyone's trying to make that thick coffee. I don't know if you've seen it. Those have gone viral on TikTok. I just recently downloaded it, but you need instant coffee. You stir it really hard, and it makes it like a thick coffee. But only instant coffee works. So
no one has to do anything else right now. So
that's it. Everyone is TikToking the day away. Interesting. So what have you? So you're not in quarantine, but you're in self-isolation. Yeah. What have you been doing to pass the time in Canada?
So I'm actually finishing my undergrad, so I've been doing a lot of schoolwork, but for the most part, like, it's been boring. I'm not gonna lie, it's been boring. I've been trying to get into working out, going for runs, walks, and then today I actually did my closet, so I completely purged my closet, which was nice.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be as productive as possible, but also acknowledging that I don't have to be productive. Like, it's a crazy time, and I don't have to do something every second of every day.
Exactly. No, totally. Yeah. If you're trying to fill every minute, you might go crazy. Yeah, it's good to kind of relax. You know, it's like a little bit of free time. So how have online classes been? Are you guys using Zoom? Like, are you seeing all your classmates, or is it only just the professor that you see?
So I'm not actually doing online lectures.
Okay.
I haven't had any online lectures. My lectures have all been like, they'll post the slideshows and they'll post recorded over their slideshows.
Okay.
But there are classes, like I have friends and I know people that are in classes where they're looking at all of their classmates and just being like, hey.
I think that'd be so much fun. Oh, I'd have way too much fun with that. Yeah. Golly, interesting. And also, let's dive in. So your dad specifically runs a venue for weddings, right?
Yeah, so we have a banquet, like we have three banquet halls. We own a farm.
Yeah.
So right now we would be in the sugarbush season, which means that we would have a pancake buffet. We'd be doing taffy on the snow. We'd be doing sleigh rides, stuff like that. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, we've had to close down, but they're doing a lot of things. So like this is outside of Ottawa. So they're doing a lot of things where they're like making pre-made meals, and you can come into our gift shop and
Yeah.
buy like home cooked food, which a lot of people I think are struggling with having to cook at home because a lot of people eat out. So,
Right.
that was my dad's biggest, like, okay, we can't make money this way, so let's try and help the community this way.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Trying.
Crazy. Yeah, it's just so crazy. Yeah, I mean, you got to adapt in these times with different businesses. Yeah, I mean, that's job well done. Way to be a good entrepreneur on his end, because there are still ways to get business.
Yeah.
Fascinating. All right, so let's dive into travel. What are your top three things either in your city or across Canada that are must sees? And I know it's going to be tough because Canada is so massive. Like, I never really realized how big it was until we crossed the border into Vancouver, and still, Vancouver, we were only there a few days. It was not enough time.
No.
So in your opinion, top three must-see spots?
So my thing is, I haven't traveled to Canada.
Okay.
My goal is to road trip Canada. It was going to be this summer after I graduate, but it's going to be pushed a little bit.
Yeah.
But my biggest recommendation for people wanting to travel is travel at least a place in the East, a place in the West, and a central place. Like, I am dying to see PEI. That is one of the places that I really want to see. And
what is it? You said CPI?
PEI, Prince Edward Island.
Prince Edward Island. Okay, got it.
And then in Ontario, so I'm in Ontario. I'm not actually far from Toronto right now.
Okay.
And my favorite thing, like, I'm a very outdoorsy person, so Algonquin Park. Honestly, the parks across Canada are amazing.
Yeah.
I would like to go see more. I see someone said the Rocky Mountains.
Yes.
I would love to see the Rocky Mountains. But yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to travel, and I will eventually.
Yeah, and Banff. I really want to see Banff. I mean, and you guys, there's a lot of national park, and there's a national park pass for Canada, just like the United States has. So that's something I would love to do one of these days. In the summer, definitely not the winter, but in the summer, maybe we'll have to join your road trip. We'll have a reunion with everybody.
Definitely.
That'd be pretty epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What about food? So, what is your favorite Canadian dish? Is there something specific that comes to mind?
Yeah, the thing with Canada, again, is that we pride ourselves on being multicultural. So we bring things in from everywhere. The big base Canadian meal, I'd say, is poutine or poutine, depending on from how you say it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, which is just fries, cheese curds, and gravy, and it is immaculate. Like, I love it.
It's delightful. Yes, it is very, very, very good. Yeah. What about weird food? Are there any like weird dishes you can get? Any strange, out of the ordinary stuff for Canadians?
I was trying to think, and I can't think of anything that's weird. Like, not that I can think of. Like, the weirdest thing, and to me it's super normal, is that we eat maple syrup on a stick. Like,
what? On a stick? Okay, that's weird. So it's literally like the bottle on a stick and you pour it in your mouth. How do you eat maple syrup on a stick?
So taffy on the snow is you take maple syrup and you boil it down.
Okay.
So it's thicker. And you pour it on the snow and then you roll it and then you eat it. And it's like a sweet treat.
Interesting. So you have snow on, so it's almost like a maple syrup snow cone, but it's a snow stick.
But it doesn't have snow on it. Like, you roll it. It just sits on and then you roll it, so it helps it like solidify kind of.
So it hardens it. Okay, interesting. Okay, that is strange. I like it. I didn't even realize you could put maple syrup on a stick. Someone commented, elk meat. Is elk meat, like, is that quite common? Can you get that across Canada? Or is that like only specific regions?
Like, you can get it.
Yeah.
I love elk. There used to, when I was growing up, there was an elk farm that my dad knew the owners, and like I grew up with their kids, so we would have elk meat. So yeah,
Nice.
I didn't honestly. I don't think of these things as different, so
Yeah.
it's hard to gauge.
Yeah. No, that's like your normal isn't necessarily normal to someone else. That's it's always tough to figure. That's why you need to travel, because then when you talk about all this stuff, you learn very quickly. That's, oh, everyone around the world doesn't do that.
Wait,
Interesting.
other people don't think that poutine is a delicacy. They don't know what
Yeah.
on fries.
Like, hello? Yeah, exactly.
I had some in
What?
Australia, and it was so strange.
Sorry, say again.
I had some when I was in Australia. It was like cheese and gravy on
Yeah.
fries.
How was it? Didn't taste like home?
I mean, not like home, but
Yeah.
it was pretty good.
Okay, still filled that void. Okay, good. What about, okay, so stereotypes for Canada. What's true? What's false? What do you think?
We don't ride moose. At least
What?
not
Since when? Because I'm from Texas. Everyone rides horses. We don't have cars. I thought every Canadian had a moose.
We ride horses.
Yeah.
No, the biggest thing I think is like we are a very polite country from what I've seen, but I think that comes with being so multicultural and like a cultural mosaic, or I think is what it's called.
Right.
At least I like to think there are still Canadians who are not nice.
Yeah.
And like there's Americans who are awesome, as you've shown.
There's a lot of them actually who are not nice. Yes. You gotta. I mean, no hard feeling. I love New York. We'll do an episode on New York, but some of those New Yorkers, they got some interesting personalities.
That's the thing. Every place is different. Are you? My boyfriend just turned on your live video.
Oh, nice.
In my room.
Inception. So we will hear what we're saying.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing would be the politeness, and then we don't live in igloos. I mean, I'm sure someone would love to. I would love to build an igloo at some point, but not typical. And it's not always cold. So I think that's
perfect. What about, okay, so I have a question for you.
Perfect.
So Argentinians always travel with mate. Okay, so that's their tea. You can see Argentinians from a mile away because they are drinking mate. Australians love to travel with their Vegemite. There's a lot of them that will take it with them when they leave home. So for you, when you lived in Australia, did you bring maple syrup with you?
Yeah.
Yes! Perfect.
I brought maple syrup, and if they were having like pancake day in the cafeteria, because I've lived on campus, if they were having a pancake day, I would bring my syrup down.
That's amazing. So how long did your maple syrup last? Did you have to get a backup supply shipped to you from your family? Did it survive your entire time there?
No, if you're gonna travel, you just you want to experience other people's lives. So for me, it was just really when I was like dying for a taste of home, I would have syrup. But other than that, I just kind of I lived like an Australian. I tried best to, because I was living with a bunch of Australians, and like once I stopped traveling, because when you live in a hostel, you're living not at all with Australians. But
right.
When I was living on campus, I was with all these Australians, so I was just kind of trying to learn a little bit about their lives and their culture and
What did you think of Vegemite? Did you enjoy it?
So Vegemite, the way they will feed it to you as a tourist is on a spoon, and that is disgusting.
Oh, yeah, however, don't fall for that one.
On toast. Like on toast with butter, it was like a salty toast snack.
So did you try Vegemite on a pancake? Because that is popular with Aussies.
I did not.
Oh, all right.
When I go back, that'll be
Oh, okay. Just kidding. It's not that popular. I'm learning that it's just popular with my girlfriend because she loves Vegemite that much. It's disgusting. I'm not a huge fan of Vegemite. I mean, just a little bit amount, but still, like, I'd rather have Canadian maple syrup on my pancakes. So, what is your favorite thing about Canada?
Oh my gosh, that's not fair. Like, I love my country. I can't imagine not being from here. I guess for me, like, it's a sense of home. My family's here, so I
Yeah.
can't like I don't know. I love Canada.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot to love. I really like. You need months. I mean, seriously, months to travel to Canada. Guys, like it is so big. I had another backpacking buddy. He's from Canada. He backpacked or he hitchhiked almost the entire way across, and that's badass. Like
That's
very very impressive. I don't know if he got all the way. Like he went for a couple months. I think he did it during the summer on the back end of his trip. But it just the landscapes there, everything is just so perfect for photos, and the wildlife. I mean, there is some parts in the remote spots there were so like moose and bear and just so much. Which guys surprisingly
moose.
there is a lot of stuff that can kill you in Canada. Like bears are pretty aggressive. Moose can be very, very aggressive. I didn't know that. And I got super close to one. And I've seen videos since that. I mean, they were like literally stomp you to death. So there you got to be careful with the wildlife. Yes. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine hitting a moose. Your car would literally be totaled.
So you hit them at the knees and their body falls into your windshield. It's absolutely terrifying. Like
something you don't want to do. Yeah, not recommended. Don't try that at home. Don't try that at all. Like watch the YouTube videos and it'll convince you otherwise, right? Like you do not want to do that.
Australia, it was people were like, "Oh, are moose really that scary?" And I would show them like a picture next to a car.
Yeah. Yes. They're massive. Especially the male like when they have the massive racks, and it's just I don't know how they run through the forest sometimes like without getting they must get stuck on trees so much, but that's
I've never even thought of that.
Yeah. It'd be pretty difficult. We'll have to interview one. I'll find one that speaks English and we'll bring him on the show. So, yeah. One more question for you. What's one fact about Canada that would surprise people?
I feel like I've already covered them.
I think the maple syrup on a stick. That's pretty surprising.
I think the biggest thing that people like get confused because we're north is that we're cold, but it's funny because where I live is lower, like we're more southern than Ireland.
Oh whoa, yeah. Oh, interesting. That's there you go. That's a good fun fact. Yeah. That is a good fun fact.
Like, not all of us are cold all the time.
Yeah, but in the winter though, it is freezing.
It does get very cold, yeah.
In your region, right? So we talked to one of my buddies who was from the west side, and he's like, "Wow, we don't get snow out here. Rarely. They mostly get rain. You're in the part that you guys get pounded with snow, right?"
Yeah, there was one day where I walked out, and I have these knee-high boots, and there was snow up to my knees. Like I was getting snow in my shoes.
That's crazy. Yeah, yeah. See, like it's fun when there's snow. The first 2 days of snow for me is fun. And then, but it's like when it's blistering cold and the snow is like frozen, it turns to ice. You can't sled. You can't ski. It's like, that's when it's like, all right, let's flick the switch. Let's get back to summer.
Yeah.
You know?
It depends on the time of year. It depends on your mood. No. Yeah. There's so many different.
Yeah. Man, I think I do. I should, like, we used to live in upstate New York growing up, like way north, way north of like Utica, New Hartford area. So we would get those massive snowstorms in the Great Lakes. And so we've kind of experienced some parts of Canada gets with snow. And it's just like, as a kid, it was amazing, right? Because you'd have to hire a professional plow and it'd be as high as the 10-foot basketball goal. So we could all slam dunk on it as kids, right? Like, you know, tiny, first graders. But then it was just like, you know, with my mom having to drive through that, it's like, oh man, as an adult, totally different ball. Like, what a game changer. As kids, it's amazing. As an adult, I can only imagine how much of a hassle it would be. So, gotta love those snow days. Snow days when it comes to school is great, but when you're working, not so much. So.
Yeah, so I worked at a ski hill this year, and there was snow days, so we would get all of the kids and parents, and I'm still at work. I still had to get here, but thanks for coming.
So the school was canceled, but the ski resort was still open. So the kids, rather than staying at home because of snow day, would go straight to ski. That's one of the most Canadian things. I love it.
Because all of us know how to drive in the snow, or at least a lot of us know how to drive in the snow.
Yeah.
There's people like all of the memes on Facebook and Instagram and all of that. at the start of winter is always, why have people forgotten how to drive in the snow? Literally, every year there's like that influx of people who forget how to drive in the snow.
Yep. That's how Texas is. As soon as like very rarely does it snow. Occasionally it'll snow. You maybe get 1 to 2 days of snow per year. And if it sticks, oh my gosh, everything shuts down. It's quite sad. Well,
Sierra, laugh at you when that happens.
yeah, exactly. So thank you so much for your time. The stage is yours. Your final words to the world. Go for it. What would you like to say?
That's so overwhelming. Definitely travel. Like I'm supposed to be heading to Vietnam, but it's not happening, and I'm a little disappointed. But if you get the chance, and especially after this quarantine, and travel, my biggest your
mind will open up so much more when you start traveling the world. Like we said, I think this episode's perfect. It's just like you get used to your normals, and you won't realize how different your culture is until you dive headfirst in all these other ones. And there's so much to learn. Like, that's the whole point of the series. Yes, we're virtually traveling the world, but guys, it's the people that make these places so amazing, and it's the cultural exchange that you get, and you learn so much about all these other places. Sierra, very, very well said. I totally agree. Get out and travel, guys. Just not now.
Followers are in Canada, in Ontario,
yes. Absolutely. I'm taking you up on that. I would love, keep me updated on the road trip. We'll see. Who knows where I'll be.
For sure.
But that would be so much fun. We'll even get the Uluru crew back together. Right. Guys, with that is the end of episode 19. Jeez, this is crazy. We're cruising through. So, real quick, next 2 episodes coming up. We are headed tonight, so tomorrow morning in the United States, we're headed to Bangladesh. So, one of the last 2 countries that I visited. Wild country. I'm excited to we're going to go to a small village and talk to my couch surfing buddy who lives there. That country is on complete lockdown, which is fascinating. I was very lucky to get out of there when I did. And then tomorrow evening, so in 24 hours, we'll head to Ecuador, so back to South America. We're going to want to talk to one of my good friends who's a guide on the Galapagos Islands. Known her for almost 10 years, so excited to see what she has to say. So with that, stay at home, stay inside. Wash your hands, guys. Let's get through this so we can open the world back up for traveling. Sierra, thanks so much. Stay safe, and hope to see you sooner rather than later.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.